This is Career Quest, and today I've got Steve Newman with me to talk to you guys a little bit about the IT industry. Steve, thank you for being here with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, kind of my first question, I'm curious about, what was your very first computer?
1982 is an Apple IIe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My father, a civilian analyst for the Navy, comes home one day. He has this new box, this computer, and he gives me, my brother, 2 discs. One was an operating system disc, what runs the computer. There were no hard drives at the time. The other was a game disc. And my dad said, "Hey, Steve, Mike, if you know this, the operating system, you can play the game." And so, 1982, and I haven't stopped playing and working on computers.
And what was the game, did you say?
Oh, man, I don't remember the game.
Oh, really?
Now that I think about it, it was Snake.
Snake.
It was Snake.
A lot of graphics or not so much?
Not so much.
Yeah.
No, back in that day, your graphics were lines, points, and circles.
Right.
And that's about it. And the Snake was a singular point that would keep extending in whatever direction that you're pressing the key, and then you would eat the little apples and then grow longer. So, yeah, very, very basic game.
And so this got you interested in computers, just this drive to play this game and to learn this operating system. Was that the spark that just kept going from there? Yeah.
I don't want to say that I was a gaming addict, but
right.
I loved to play the games. And then after a while, I was curious about, well, what makes these games operate? How do these games work? As I was learning more code and writing more code, and it wasn't like really creative code, but it started sparking my curiosity.
Yeah.
And so I would write, I would play on a daily and a weekly basis all the way through college and afterwards.
Okay. So you mentioned college just a second ago, so I'm curious about education. How important is a traditional track of education for IT?
Yeah, sure. I'll share real quick what I studied. I went into college as a theater major.
Okay.
I graduated from college as a biologist. And to this day, I haven't taken any formalized training in technology.
And so you went to college for this, but ended up just following this other passion you had from childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And it all worked out?
Yeah, it all worked out. When I was in high school, still playing games and still writing code, I believe my father won a racquetball match against my future boss, which got me a summer internship at this company. They recognized I was good at computers, and they put me down in front of a computer. It had a renewable energy software package, database for the Department of Energy. And it was DBase 3, DBase 2, and DBase 3, and they didn't know how to make it operate. I was unafraid, and I learned how to access the data, make some reports, print some information out. And I did that from, I think, my sophomore year in high school all the way to my first year outside of college.
So formal education, maybe, take it or leave it. You can do it, but you do need to be curious.
Yeah, it comes down to that. Curious and very willing to fail and then learn. The curiosity will really, really keep you digging. And when you run into a roadblock, you won't stop. And you'll want to learn how something works, and you're going to make sure that you can figure that out. And that is what my technology has been on. And now, what I like most about the aspects of technology I get to play in is the data side of things. So I'm very curious what kind of data and what kind of information we can collect wherever we're working, and then analyzing and figuring out that data and turning it into something actionable by a business to make good decisions.
So tell us about your first job in IT.
My first job, paid job in IT, was technically with that renewable energies company right outside of college. I was doing graphics work, I was doing some computer repair, and I was doing a lot of their database stuff. Very, very basic, very, very simplistic. Within 18 months of graduating college, I had 2 friends of mine come up to me and say, "Hey, you're familiar with computers. We have this contract with the Navy, and we need somebody to come in and help us out." So the 2 of those gentlemen started this company called Excalibur Software out of Washington, D.C. area. Okay. I was their first employee. Spent 5 years there, turned that company from 3 employees and $250,000 contract to 35 employees and $5 million in contracts.
Wow. So a startup.
It was a startup, yeah. It was a great startup at the boon of the internet business. Working for the Navy, it was really, really reliable. Good money, great experiences. And neither of the three of us actually had any formalized education in computers.
So what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career in IT?
To try it out and don't be afraid.
Oh.
I think there's so many people think that, one, if you go into technology, you have to be a geek. Or if you go into technology, you're going to be a geek. That's definitely just a myth. And then the trying and learning from trying and learning from failure are just critical aspects inside of technology. And on this aspect of technology, I'm talking more about software development, hardware, and networking. There's a whole support side, which is a completely different branch on the technology chain of things. But yeah, just don't be afraid to fail and learn from it and rinse and repeat and do it over and over and over again.
I think that's great advice. I think more people probably, in high school and early on, and maybe even maybe college or their careers, that you just have to pursue it. Don't debunk the myths. Keep trying. Be okay with failure. These are all things that would be great for people to hear, I think.
Yeah. And the other myth inside of the IT space is people feel like you have to have a certain tool set. You have to have a specific background. And in IT, all you need is the desire to be in it and the ability to learn, because it's not native. You're not born knowing how to open up a computer. You have to learn that. And we really, really want to make people understand that IT is approachable for everyone.
Well, Steve, thank you for sharing your story. Hopefully you'll stick around and talk to me a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But thanks a lot for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.